So remember that totally crazy argument by gun-loving Republicans where they defend firearms by saying guns are a mechanism to deal with a tyrannical government? Yeah, it's been used time and time again by people like Ben Shapiro, who will say the Second Amendment exists to resist government tyranny, something that he told Piers Morgan while doing an interview. And Morgan, like many liberals, dismissed this concern with a shrug and a question of, which tyranny are you fearing yourself? And there's a point there. What tyrannical government is going to arise in the current year? Why would these silly gun nuts be afraid? Who would ever need to defend themselves in our perfect democracy? Well, this election time, it's looking like some people are starting to see Shapiro's point. And that's liberals. Yes, you heard me right. In a BBC article last week titled Why U.S. Liberals Are Buying Guns, the BBC interviews some American lefties about their new affinity for self-defense. Clara, a 28-year-old transgender nursing student, has gone out and is shopping for a semi-automatic pistol. She stated her reasoning is that Trump's election has mobilized a lot of the far right and given them hope. I guess when liberals have been convinced that Trump is literally Hitler and he's going to be putting Muslims in internment camps, it's not surprised that they're scared. But what is more surprising than their crazy ideas is their hypocrisy. When the right are afraid of a radical government, they're crazy gun nut conspiracy theorists. And now that the left are afraid of a radical government, they're just being reasonable and trying to prepare for the collapse of society. I mean, it's good to see the left jumping on the pro-weapons bandwagon, but it's a shame it took some delusional fantasy of literally Hitler Trump to implore them to accept that arguments like Shapiro's resistance to a tyrannical government were actually pretty reasonable. And luckily, despite propaganda efforts from the left during the election, gun sales are still going up among all groups. They've gone up with the gay community, especially after the Orlando shooting, and clubs have been opening up, such as the Pink Pistols, a club for gay, lesbian, and transgender owners. And according to the article, Laura Smith, the national spokesperson for the Liberal Gun Club, says her organization has seen a huge rise in inquiries since November's election and a 10% increase to paid members. So guns seem to be cool with liberals as long as they're in their hands and as long as the president is right-wing. If it's Republicans with guns and a left-wing president, it's perfectly cool to confiscate them. I mean, it just seems so silly to me. Right-wing people have just as much a right to be afraid of tyranny as left-wing people do. In fact, if America were ever to fall into tyranny, I'd hope they'd both team up against it. In the end, I'm happy that these liberals are buying guns. I just hope they learn from this and start to understand why the right want them to. If you want to see more from the Rebel Media, then be sure to hit like and subscribe.